Hi everybody, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am going to be reviewing The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. I enjoyed this, but I have some things that I need to talk about with it. You'll see me talk about it more in my thriller vlog, but that's not coming out until next week. So you'll kind of get to see me in action as these things unfold. But I want to talk about this more in depth. There may be some minor spoilers towards the end, but rest assured I will warn you about that in advance so that you can either mute or click off of the video if you need to. But in The Family Game, we are following a woman named Harriet Reed, and she is an author who has relocated to New York from London to be with her fiance. And she is about to meet his family for the very first time. Her fiance's family is a very rich, affluent, well-connected family, and she starts getting like some pretty bad vibes right off the bat. Like not necessarily in like a malicious way, but just in a they are overpowering type of a way. Like, for example, the first person in the family that she meets is her fiance's sister, and the sister requests to meet her at a specific day at a specific time, and she has a meeting at her publisher during that time frame. She tells her, "Oh, I can't do it then because I have a meeting, but I can do it after." And then she gets a call from her publisher saying that they're pushing back her meeting because they got a call and the family just arranged for it to be changed. That, to me, would set off so many warning bells. I don't think that I could deal with it. So that's basically our plot line. Is she's going to meet them, and these weird things just start to happen that give her the ick. Okay, so first off, I just want to say that I did enjoy this a lot. I wasn't crazy about the ending, but I'll be honest, I have not been crazy about the endings of a lot of books recently, and I don't really know why that is. I don't think that I've enjoyed the ending to a book since The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And don't get me wrong, some have bothered me more than others, but I can't think of one that I actually liked the ending of. Yeah, I could be missing one, it's very possible, but just not that comes to mind. So, I mean, that very well could just be a me issue, but I'm going to get into more about what it is that bothered me later. So, just stay tuned for that. But with the family game, during this first meeting, which the family tricks her into, ends up being Thanksgiving. And it's like they didn't say Thanksgiving. They were like, "Oh, we're having a family get together on Thursday. You guys should come." And so they end up going. Her fiance has been out of the fold for a while, and he is apprehensive about getting back into it. But Harriet has no family, and she really, really, really wants a family. So she is pushing to be involved with them to a certain degree. And she is like happy that she's being invited to things, even though like their power does set her on edge. So when she gets to this Thanksgiving dinner, her future father-in-law takes her to the side, tells her he loved the book that she put out, and he gives her a tape. And he says that it's an idea for a thriller that he's been writing, and he wants her opinion on it. And that seems like a perfectly reasonable request. She doesn't think too much of it, and she actually thinks it's a good thing, because she's like, well, he's trusting in me to do this. He must like me. So when she starts listening to this tape, however, it starts feeling less like a plot line and more like the confession to a murder. And she starts getting really freaked out, but she doesn't know whether or not she should go to the police, because is this really just a thriller idea that he has, or is this an actual confession? There are a lot of very, very eerie similarities to the family, and that's what's making her think that it's real. So it's like she starts this deep dive into the family history, like looking into family deaths, and finds like a string of missing people that are connected to the family, and she starts trying to like put together this big puzzle. Okay, so I will say this, that I was under the impression when I heard about this book, and then again when I read the flap, that it was going to be like one giant game throughout the book. That she was going to go to an event, and something was going to happen, something crazy. But it wasn't really like that. We follow several weeks period of time, and there are different games involved in it. The family does like games, but this isn't really one game like I was led to believe, unless you count her trying to figure out the tape, because that's what the majority of the book is her trying to figure out the tape. I have seen a couple of reviews since I finished this book where people were really, really unhappy with that because like they thought it was one thing and it ended up being something else. I personally do not mind that it was a little bit different than I expected. I still enjoyed it, but it is worth putting out there in case you were really into that premise, because that's not quite what it is. So, I mean, I want to put that out there and be completely open about that, because I don't want anybody to go into this disappointed. Like, go into it with a clear mind of what it actually is. So the games that were in here, I did enjoy a lot. There was one in particular which took place on Krampus night. Sorry if I am mispronouncing that. It's not a holiday that I've ever celebrated. But it's like the German Christmas, I think. And so it's like they're doing this big game celebration. It's supposed to be mainly for the kids, but Harriet has been asked to team up with one of the children and help him. And it's like, she does think it's a little strange, and like the customs of the holiday rub her the wrong way a little bit, but she does like that she's being included, and she likes that they seemingly have accepted her. So she goes ahead and she agrees to it, but she's thinking, that it's just like, it's a minor children's game, and it's a lot creepier than she had anticipated. And I loved the way that this game was laid out. I loved, like, the pacing of it was perfect. It was not too long for the section. It wasn't too short. It was definitely creepy, and it was over the top for what you would anticipate for a children's game. It's like, they shut out all the lights. They have people in teams, and it's like you have to find clues to win the game, and like the game does not end unless somebody finds what the Krampus being is looking for, and they actually have a guy in a suit. I mean, it's very intense. And so she just gets more and more creeped out, and she starts feeling like this isn't a game, like somebody's trying to hurt her. She's trying to keep the little boy that she's partnered with safe. And like, her and her fiance end up getting into a big fight about it. She's like, because you should have warned me. And he's saying, well, that's the game. You have to figure it out on your own. Like, nobody can tell you. And so it's like they go back and forth, and I'm kind of torn on this subject myself. I believe that she slightly overreacted, because clearly if you paid attention to the children, it's like, it's clearly a kid's game. Yes, it's very weird, but it was clearly a kid's game, and like, they weren't scared. They just wanted it to be over so they could go eat their ice cream, but it's like, that's not the same thing as being scared. So, I do feel like she overreacted, because it's like she really thought that she was in danger and that she had to protect the children. But that's what they wanted her to believe. And I do think that was twisted, that, it's like it was testing her. to see if she was like good enough to be in the family. And I'm like, you're going to use a children's game like that and terrify the crap out of somebody? Like, so it's like, I'm back and forth on whether or not I think she overreacted on that. Maybe a little bit, but not too much, you know? It's just one of the, her fiance at least could have told her, it's like, oh, it's like, that's going to be intense, but, you know, don't worry about it. That's just how they are, something. But he literally let her go into it blind. And there is another game at the end of the book that I really, really enjoyed a lot. It was kind of like a Christmas time treasure hunt, but the winner gets like their greatest need taken care of. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little spin on it. So now I'm going to go into spoiler territory for a little bit. I will put a spoiler alert on the screen, so you can either mute until that goes off of the screen, or you can just click off of the video now. In these tapes, Harriet finds a list of like 5 or 6 girls that are in some way or another connected to this family that have gone missing or have died under mysterious circumstances. And the oldest son of the family, who was supposed to take over the family business, died under suspicious circumstances himself many years before, and her own fiance lied to her about it for a while. She didn't even know there was a brother until she started going to, you know, these family functions, and people were talking about him, and she's like, hey, who's Bobby? Because, you know, that was the brother's name. And he finally kind of had to tell her something, but she found out that he wasn't telling her the truth. So she's like investigating this hardcore, like what really happened with Bobby's death? What happened with these girls? Is all the stuff on this tape a confession from the father-in-law? Was he responsible for all of this? Or was he simply inspired by events in his life to write this thriller book? So it's like she's just going crazy trying to figure all this stuff out, and she keeps uncovering more and more things. Until everything comes to a head. So everything just finally kind of goes crazy on Christmas Eve. And that is when they do their big treasure hunt. Edward, her fiance, initially doesn't want her to do it because she's pregnant, but she insists because the last part of the tape that she listened to, her father-in-law basically said he knew about this dark secret from her past and he was going to expose it. And, but if she won the game, then he would keep her secret. And she does, of course, she doesn't want anybody to know about it. So she's like, I have to win this game. So, her portion of this, her portion of this treasure hunt literally leads her to a body. Like, this man knows exactly what he's doing. And while she is outside hunting for clues, like, everything just kind of goes crazy. When she comes back from finding her present, she starts finding death and destruction everywhere, and it's just this big, crazy mess. And all of a sudden, it is revealed that her fiance was the one that killed all these people. And she had no clue. And I will say that I figured this out early. Extremely early. Like, I'd say maybe within the first 20% of the book. And normally, I don't get upset about that because I do have a habit of being able to figure out the twists in things. Like, probably 95% of the time I figure it out. So, I've kind of gotten used to that. So, I don't think that was what took me out of it. I think it was more so the fact that it was so early. So it wasn't like, it didn't feel like there was any mystery to it, really. And also, I thought that it was kind of stupid. you know, it's just like his character just like snapped in an instant, and it just didn't make sense. But it's like there were things that were said that made me wonder, is like, could it be Edward? And that was very early on, very, very early on. So that was kind of a letdown. And then once we get the reveal, it was more like a horror movie, like a very, very bad, crazy, actiony horror movie. And it just didn't match the tone of the rest of the book. Okay, the spoiler alert is over. I'm going to go back to generic information. So the ending was completely over the top. I'm done saying what it is, so don't worry about that for those of you that are tuning back in. But it was completely over the top. It played out like a horror movie, but one that's really, really over the top. And it didn't match the tone for the rest of the book. And it just started to feel weird. And it's just like every step was elevated. It kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And I was rolling my eyes. I was just ready for it to be over. And like the last couple of pages, I kind of liked, but basically from the time they arrive on Christmas Eve to those couple of pages, I was just in shock and not really understanding what I was reading, because it was such a tone shift, and it felt like it was completely random. So take that as you will. Overall, I really, really did enjoy this a lot. It was kind of slow in the beginning, but I enjoy slow burns. If you don't, this might not be for you. But I really enjoyed the character arcs, and I found all of the characters really, really interesting to read about. Even the nasty ones, because it's like they were interesting, and it's like for the most part I found this fun to read. I gave it a 4 and it probably would have been a 5 if it had not been for that ending, but like I said, that very well could be me more than it is the book, because this has been an ongoing issue that I've been having, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was Addie LaRue put me into a weird reading slump, or because it's like my reading hasn't stopped, but I'm not enjoying particularly the endings ever since that book. So I don't know if like that sparked something in me. I really don't know. So, but yeah, overall, 4 out of 4 stars. Would definitely read from Catherine Steadman again. And if you have any more recommendations for her works, please leave them in the comments down below, because I would like to know which one to start with next. But that is all that I have for you guys today. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, follow me on the social medias, click that bell if you want to be notified of all of my upcoming videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.